Sometimes there are challenges for people with disabilities because people put limitations on them, and they have stigmas and they have perceptions. So one of the advice I give leaders is training your personnel and your Marines to not make biased decisions. I was with the 2nd Battalion, 7th Marines on my first tour, the outskirts of Fallujah. And then at the latter half of that deployment, I went to Karma. We went back out there to deal with part of the Al-Qaeda in Iraq issues that were going on there. I think I may have had like a week or two left of operations. I was on a foot patrol when a 155mm artillery shell that was used as an IED was detonated as I walked over it. That IED actually happened to be what we refer to as a daisy chain IED. So it had another IED attached to it, and one of them took a blast to the face and hands, and then I was literally on top of the IED, so I went up with the explosion. Once they came to our aid, there was a small gunfight that ensued. The Marines dealt with that fairly swiftly and then were able to get to me. When they found me, my left leg was mangled, my left arm was fairly mangled, and then they worked on my medevac from there. So I spent a month inpatient, which was rather quick for an amputee, and then I began my outpatient. Getting past a fractured back, I had to learn how to walk again, and then allowing burns and stitches to heal up. And I went through a lot of therapy to get all that trauma and scar tissue to free up. I mean, there was a point in time when your body's going through that much trauma and it's trying to recover. My fingernails stopped growing, my hair fell out of my head, my skin was just stuck to my bones. I had no fat, like the healthy fats that you should have. My body had just used them all to help it recover. And all of that was like, that messes with your mind. You know, will I get married? Am I gonna have opportunity? You know, what's my life gonna be like? What can I do? What is a disability? All of that happened, like all at once. Easily the hardest thing in my Marine Corps career was actually not me being hurt. It was being on 2 extremely dangerous deployments and losing friends. And I would tell this to any Marine, and I think most Marines who've been through like my similar experience, is they aren't gonna talk about their disability or like, oh, woe is me, I have lost a leg. I have lost some extremely close friends on deployment and also as a civilian supporting warfighters. You know, my recovery and some of my hardships with a disability, that's not the hardest. And I would say, as we think about people with disabilities, we also need to remember the families of the fallen and do what we can to take care of them, because they're the ones who continue to suffer years and years later. You have to make a decision to look forward, set goals, and execute. Because if you spend your life looking in the rearview mirror about the bad things that have happened, what has happened to you, what has happened to people you know, and I'm not saying you forget that. That's a piece of you that, you know, I'll never forget the Marines that have sacrificed everything. But at the same time, I can't dwell on that, because if I dwell on it, I can't move forward.